Today, got a new video for you. I recently watched Pro ZD's video on the top 10 most played games he has on Steam, or like according to Steam, and I was like, this seems like fun. Let's do something similar. It's a little bit slow. I'm a little low on ideas, so I'm just straight up ripping off Pro ZD, being upfront about it. But I thought, why not elaborate on some of the games I've played? On the list is probably not what most people expect. It's very random. And you'll learn why, obviously, as I explain it to you. But let's just get right into the list. So starting off, we actually first up have a tie between Infamous Second Son, which came out in 2014, early 2015. It was a PS4 launch title. So yeah, Infamous Second Son and Persona 3 Reload, which I played, it came out February 2024, I think? Yeah, so those are the two games, and I have 123 hours in both. So I guess I'll just quickly explain why. Infamous Second Son was the first game I ever owned on the PlayStation, and as a result, you have to build your library. Now I have too many games to play, which I never thought would happen. But when I started off, I just had Infamous Second Son and Lego Batman 3, and I played a lot of Infamous because I played the first two games from the PS3 era. So obviously I wanted to play the new Infamous installment on the PS4, or the brand new system. So I have a lot of hours in that. I did the platinum for it. I did the good, the bad endings, and I did them multiple times, all the collectibles and stuff like that, 100%. So 123 makes sense. Very similar story to Persona 3, actually. As you guys may know, basically every background track in all of my videos is like a Persona song, so far at least. So as you might be able to guess, I'm a pretty big Persona fan. Persona 3 Reload, I had never played Persona 3. I was very excited because they remade the whole game. And definitely has my favorite story out of all of the games that I've played, which is just 3, 4, 5, and some of the spin-offs. But 3 definitely has my favorite story. The reason I feel like it took me 123 hours is because I played it to completion, up to 100% for it, and that required an extra playthrough, almost 2 full playthroughs, yeah, of the game, and that obviously is going to take up extra time. I think my first playthrough took me 80 hours, and then the second one I just sped through it, so, but yeah, that's why those two are so high up, and the 123 is already quite a bit, and that's just number 10. Now, at number 9, we have Baldur's Gate 3, which I have 135 hours in. That might seem a little bit less, but I mean, if you guys watched my PlayStation Wrapped video, I thought that was a little on the low side. The reason it was 133 in that video, and now it's 135 because I played 2 hours last night or 2 nights ago, I think. But yeah, this is one of my favorite. This is my second favorite game of all time. Baldur's Gate 3 is it's very close to my heart, and it's crazy considering that it's been just over a year since I played it. And usually games, it's really for me to really have a spot for them in my heart, I have to had played them over the years, a couple times. But Baldur's Gate 3 just instantly endeared itself to me, and I really want to play it again. That's why I started a new campaign a couple nights ago. I'm not gonna go through with it. I have too many other things to play. But I really did just want to create a new character and jump in and just see, do I still have it? I do still have it, for the most part. But yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is number 9. At number 8, I have Final Fantasy 16 at 150 hours. Again, because I got the platinum for this one, it took me a long time. I basically had to do one whole playthrough plus a playthrough on the hardest difficulty on New Game Plus. Both of them were super fun. This came out in 2023, I think? I think it came out in 2023. This is my game of the year in 2023, personally. There was a lot of good shit that came out then, but this felt like I was playing this epic, dark fantasy almost adventure mixed in with some anime Dragon Ball Z-esque fights. I just thought, wow, I don't think in terms of pure spectacle, this game will ever be topped. I want to play this game again. The thing is, it took 150 hours just because the campaign is just very long. It is such a long campaign, and I did pretty much all the side missions as well. And I think my first playthrough took me 90 hours. The cutscenes are super long. So yeah, I mean, it's just a long game. That's why I haven't had the urge to play it. Two playthroughs was enough for me. But let's just say the fights are fantastic. And I know they have a little mode where you can play the fights on their own. I'll probably do that at some point. At number 7, I have Uncharted 4. Again, I got this game in 2016 when it came out. I was kind of lacking a little bit in games to play at the time, so I spent a lot of time in this game. The story is incredible. I find myself wanting to revisit every year, every 2 years, so I do another playthrough, watch all the cutscenes. It's like a really good, action adventure movie. So I find myself kind of having the urge to either replay the series or replay Uncharted 4 specifically. I did this past summer platinum all 4 games, and I think that's part of why my gameplay time is so high for Uncharted 4, because I did platinum it, and that's a big game, with a lot of small things in between. The trophies really pissed me off. I ran into an issue with the trophy collections. I had so many different saves that didn't all carry over, that even though I collected all the trophies, and even though I collected all the treasures, I've been saying trophies this whole time, I meant treasures. Even though I collected all the treasures on one save file, it didn't go through, so I had to wipe all of them and start again, and then collect them all again. And that probably also, made the hours swell up a little bit. That's why it's at 154. I told you this is a very unconventional list. Most of these are single player games. You're just like, how do you have over 100 hours in any of these games? Like Uncharted 4 is like a 30-40 hour game max, but here I have 154 hours in it, so, that's just, I have a very strange list, to say the least. At number 6, I got Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. Now, I sunk a lot of time into this game when it came out initially, like well over 60-70 hours, maybe possibly more than that. I have currently 174 hours in this game, and part of it is because I spent so much time playing it initially when it came out, but also because I played through the entire series again this past summer. And obviously Metal Gear Solid 5 is, in terms of gameplay and like mission length, it's probably the most in-depth out of all of the games in the series. And it's also just like my favorite game in terms of gameplay. It's the most fun to play for me. My actual favorite games in the series are Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, but this is definitely like the most fun to play in my opinion. So it makes sense why I have so many hours. It's also an open world game, so there's a lot of side activities to do and collectibles. I spent a bunch of time doing the multiplayer and the FOB stuff back when that was still popular, and like popping off and stuff. I had a lot of fun with that stuff. That was like in middle school. Holy shit, that was like in middle school. But yeah, that's why I have 174 hours in it. I think that made sense. And my number 5 is just a little bit embarrassing. It's Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact, as you guys might know, was huge back when it came out. Like, what was it? Holy shit. Genshin Impact was big like in it's still big now, but like 4 years ago is when it was like popping off, right? So, holy shit, it's been a long time. I'm just getting caught up in it a little bit. But I have 230 hours in Genshin Impact. And that's because, for one, it was a free pandemic game. Everyone got into it during the pandemic. All of my friends were playing it again because it was free, and I was like, you know what, I'll join in on the hype. I'll play with my friends a little bit. It was fun for a little bit, especially in the early days, joining people's worlds, roaming around together. It was a good way to pass time. I actually, because classes were online at this point, I think I can say this now, I'm well out of high school, but in high school, I used to log into my class just, for attendance, say hi, and then just completely ignore whatever was going on in class and just play Genshin Impact with my friends. It was good times. However, I do have to say, as a game itself, I'm not a huge fan of Genshin Impact. I do acknowledge that it excels for very good reason in certain aspects, and I think the success to some extent is deserved. I do think, however, that quest design, the predatory nature of gacha games to begin with, the character designs are lacking recently, the writing has never been the best. I fucking hate that flying little Paimon, right? I hate Paimon. Yeah, there's just things that don't gel well with me in this game. It is fun to play, and the characters, at least initially, had very dynamic kits. Now it feels now, as far as I know, it seems a little repetitive. My friends that were really into the game have hopped off. I can't believe I'm talking about Genshin Impact the most, but my friends that were really into the game have hopped off recently. So overall, I just have no reason to play it anymore. I did, however, before I stopped, sink well over 200 hours, 230 hours into this game. It's a little embarrassing, but it happened, and I'm glad it happened. It's just, it's Genshin Impact. I feel like my friends in question have like well over 1,000 hours in this game, so I'm still on the low end, which I'll take that as a W. Let's move on. At number 4, we've got Persona 5. Now, Persona 5 was not only my gateway drug to the Persona series, but also just to JRPGs in general, I think. I wasn't a fan of turn-based action games before, or turn-based JRPGs before. I thought they looked boring, but Persona 5 just looked so cool, and a very close friend of mine loved the game, so I got it for her, because I wanted her to play it. But watching her play it, I was like, look, this game kind of slaps. So I started playing it during the pandemic, and I fell in love with the characters, the storyline, the style, the gameplay, everything. The music, oh my god, the music. It's still one of, if not the best OST in a game I've ever heard. That, I might be blowing it out of proportion a little bit because there's lots of good ones, but it's up there with one of the best soundtracks probably I'll ever hear in my life. I don't know if I said this already, but I have 247 hours in Persona 5, and that's because and this is the not Royal. I also own Royal, but I have like 90 hours in Royal. I have 247 in the original vanilla Persona 5. I got it before Royal came out, pre-pandemic. I don't know, this game is just really endearing to me. I played it once, and I tried to play other games, and then I was like, I just really want to play it again. So I played it again, and then during my second playthrough, I was like, let me get the 100% for this. And if you don't know, the 100% for Persona 5 is a lot more complicated than the 100% for Royal. So I spent a lot of time failing, redoing things. I also didn't really use guides, which was on me. I try to do everything just like brute forcing it. I did use the fusion calculator, which I'm sure if you play Persona games and you like fusing personas, then you've probably encountered that website on GitHub as well. Great, whoever made it, thank you so much. It's so helpful. But yeah, I have 247 hours because I tried to 100% it and I succeeded, and that's why I have so many hours. Now I'm like in my friend group, I'm like the Persona guy. Let's move on to number 3. And honestly, it's really funny because the difference between my number 3 and number 4 spots is literally a difference of 1 hour. So for Persona 5, I had 247 hours, and for my number 3 spot, I have 248 hours, which is really funny to me. But at number 3, I have Injustice 2. Now, Injustice 2, I sunk my entire life. I was no life in this game when it came out, because I was a huge fan. I mean, I still love the Injustice games and what they represented to me as a kid. As a kid in middle school, I still love that. The one thing that hasn't been a great carryover of the series has just been people's view of Superman, but that could be a whole other separate video all on its own. But that's besides the point. The Injustice games are super fun, well-rounded fighting games, and Injustice 2 introduced the gear system, which was you get to customize your characters, put gear on them that augments their abilities, gives them new abilities, all these shaders, colorways, and stuff like that. And I just thought, I spent so much time grinding online and multiverse to get more gear so that I could really take my characters to the next level. And then there was all the DLC characters, which I got all of them too, and I maxed a bunch of characters out. I spent so much time just messing around in training and just trying to figure out new combos and looking up combos online for different characters. I was deep into Injustice gameplay. I haven't been too into the fighting game scene since. I've played a little bit of Tekken and Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. I've touched on all of the big ones, but I can't say I've ever bought the games and sunk this many hours into any of the recent ones. But Injustice 2 holds a really dear place to my heart. Once in a while, when my friends come over, I'll try to force them to play Injustice, even though I know none of them like it, because I just mollywop them. That's why I just prefer to watch people play the game, because it's funny to see them try to figure out how to fight each other and get really worked up about it. Even now, I have combos burned into my head, so it's just no fun. But that's my number 3 spot. At number 2, I've got Dying Light. The first Dying Light, I have 400 hours in the first Dying Light. And Dying Light, okay, yes, it is just a mindless zombie game with a so-so story, but I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the character of Kyle Crane, the world of Dying Light, the music. If you've ever listened to the OST, it's a really it's like a lo-fi synth kind of music, but oh my god, it works so well. And the gameplay is super fun. It's simplistic, you've got crafting, you make weapons, you can attach elemental attacks to them and whatnot. I think I've talked about this before, but I think Dying Light 2 was too ambitious. Dying Light 1 was very straightforward and very, compact in a way that was really enjoyable. And the big, obviously, selling point was, oh yeah, it's a zombie game, but there's parkour in it. And the parkour system is so much fun. The traversal is some of the best in any game I've ever played. It's fluid, it's dynamic. You start off, not really enjoying it because it's slow and your character is just learning how to parkour. And then by the end of the game, you're flying across rooftops, grappling hook, gliding, you get a wingsuit. It's not as good as the parachute in Dying Light 2, but it's there. The day-night system was innovative for the time, the stalkers and the volatiles that come out at nighttime, and they are, really tough enemies, but you get double XP, and I was for the time, it was just perfect. I think it was it it was 2014 or 2015 that the first Dying Light came out, and it was just perfect. It was mindless fun. I played online with my middle school friends. You know, I even joined. This was one of the few games, along with Injustice 2, where I would literally join random games just to have fun. There was a Be the Zombie mode where you could like play as the zombie, hunting down survivors at nighttime. That was a lot of. I played that too. Like I was thoroughly engaged in this game, and it's really sad that Dying Light 2 wasn't up to snuff because I really enjoyed the first game. I hope Dying Light the Beast is a return to form, because I would love to jump back into that world with the main character Kyle Crane and just, you know, just chop heads off again. So 400 hours for Dying Light 2. And finally, my number one spot, I feel it's fitting for me, but it also kind of makes no sense at the same time. It's Batman Arkham Knight. Now, it's not even my favorite game in the series. Batman Arkham City is my favorite game in the series. But I love Batman Arkham Knight. This was at one point my most anticipated game of all time. I didn't even bother with The Witcher 3 when it came out, because these two came out in the same month, I think, Batman Arkham Knight and The Witcher 3. I didn't even bother. I played The Witcher 3 years later, because I was just all in on Batman Arkham Knight. Now, did it have its fair share of issues? Yes. Is it still the most fun to play game in the series? Also, yes. I have the platinum for it. I did all the challenge maps for most of the characters. I, you know, fully ranked them, everything. I got, if you play Batman Arkham Knight, you know that you can get 240% completion, which is like you play the game to 100%, then you play New Game Plus to 100%, and then on top of that, they added the Season Pass, a Season of Infamy DLC, which was like new characters, new villains, new story arcs, and stuff like that. And if you do everything for those ones, you get an extra 40% added to, if you do that in New Game and New Game Plus, you get it added to your total, and then you get like a cool little suit at the end. I'm yapping a little bit, but I haven't even unveiled how many hours I have in this game. It's 663 hours. Yeah, a lot. It's a lot of hours for a single player game where the campaign isn't even more than 30 hours really. But I think the road to the platinum, just enjoying it so much that I played it over and over. The story's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. So I played it for the story a lot over and over again. I've had friends come over and play it too, so that might have added to it like a little bit, but that was just like a couple hours at a time. The vast majority of it does come from me, and just, you know, oh, there was this one time, me and my cousin, and this was when the Tim Burton Batman DLC came out, and along with it came the Batmobile and tracks from like the movie. Me and my cousin, we sat next to each other on my couch for like 5-6 hours, just constantly beating each other's best time in the track. And I would beat him, and then he couldn't beat me, and then he'd beat me, and then I'd be like handed over, and then I'd beat him in the next run, and then he'd beat me in the next run, and then it went back and forth for like 5-6 hours. I had good memories, a lot of good times there. I couldn't do shit on those tracks anymore, but you know, it was a great time. So Batman Arkham Knight's number 1. So that is my top 10 most played games of all time, according to my PlayStation's internal clock system. You know, as far as I know, the system isn't the most accurate, but this feels pretty accurate to me. Yeah, those are my most played games of all time. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Tell me what you guys have the most hours in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear it. And I know that I think the reason I like this video is a very common video type to make on YouTube. But I just thought it'd be fun because my top 10 is such a strange assortment of video games that I thought it would catch a lot of people off guard just to hear Batman Arkham Knight at number 1. And like, why is Metal Gear Solid and Uncharted 4 on this list? And why is Infamous Second Son on this list, you know? So I thought that would be fun to make and maybe catch a few people off guard. It certainly caught me off guard when I looked at them and I was like, oh well, yeah, that actually makes sense, you know? Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, like the video and subscribe. Hopefully, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.